Flurry Heart, Lullaby Apple, A True Love by Switch Down. Being the princess in the next line of the throne of Crystal Empire could be very tired life. Flurry Heart in her early 20s, but she didn't want to be a princess anymore. She often tells her parents that she didn't want to be in the next lineup as the ruler of the Crystal Empire. She preferred to be a more calmer lifestyle. Maybe a farmer or perhaps a teacher. But her parents just thought that she was just going through a phase. But they always don't know, always. But they always telling her that she is going to be the next ruler, even if her mother or her father has the way or stepping down, she will be the next one in line. They always try to encourage her to be the next ruler. They even try to make her to spend time with the ponies in town, because to show them that she is the perfect successor in the line to be the next ruler of the empire. But she always said, no, I don't want to be the next ruler, but that is your destiny. How can you know it's my destiny to be the next ruler? You had the royal blood, said her mother. But she always said, no, I don't want to be the next ruler. And her parents almost given up hope and tried to convince her that she is born to be the next ruler. So they decided to send her to her aunt Twilight in Ponyville, so that she could try to convince her own niece about it. And first when they said that they would send Flurry Heart to her aunt just for a visit for maybe 1 or 2 weeks. And Flurry Heart was actually looking forward to meet her aunt again. She hadn't seen her since last housewarming. But she had no idea about her parents' secret agenda. They had written a letter to Twilight, so she could try to convince, proving to Flurry Heart that she is going to be the next princess or the next queen, or well, at least the next ruler of the empire. But on her way to Ponyville, she always had something in her mind. She had to almost figure out why her parents suddenly sent her to her aunt, and she believes that must be a secret agenda. But she had no idea what purpose her parents had planned for her. So she decided to try to avoid that particular subject when she arrives to her aunt. When she arrives, she is greeted by Applejack and Rainbow Dash with a daughter, Lullaby Apple. They tells her that Twilight is busy at the moment at the school, but she will greet her back when they came to castle. And before they even arrive to the castle, Flurry Heart says that she wants to explore the city, or at least the town, a bit more. Both Applejack and Rainbow Dash looked at each other and thought they had been strictly ordered by Twilight to bring her to the castle right after she arrived. But since Twilight isn't going to be there for the next couple of hours, so they thought, why not? Since they wouldn't see her for at least, since Twilight wouldn't have been able to see her niece for the next 4 hours. So they decided to at least have some fun, show around her town, just maybe to bring her to some cafe or restaurant or something, to grab her to eat something, or just talk, to spend some time. And that was actually a great idea for Flurry Heart, because that was the one she had she was trying to find an excuse not to go to the castle to see her aunt and right away. And it worked. She hadn't actually planned how it was going to turn out, but it worked well. But then suddenly, when they were in the restaurant, Big Mac came to Applejack saying that he needs her help, that some of the apples at the buckets of apples, they had a big order to Starlight's old village and to Candlelight. And that Apple Bloom wasn't even in town at the moment. She was away on her honeymoon with Bottommatch. So he had to ask Applejack. And Rainbow Dash had said that she could help them as well. So she did. But then they had to ask their daughter, Lullaby Apple, if she could bring Flurry Heart to the castle without any problem. And she said that she could. So they both stayed at the restaurant for the next maybe an hour or so. After that, they decided to take a run, walk around town, greet some other ponies, and even the Flurry Heart had noticed how relaxed Lullaby Apple were. She was not in any stress. She explained that she loved her family and that even they had hoped that one day that she would stay at the farm. But they had given her all the free time, all the things that she wanted to do before they had to decide if she wanted to stay in Ponyville or perhaps move it towards some other towns where some other Apple family relatives lived. And Flurry Heart was surprised that Lullaby had very much spare time and so much freedom to do anything she wants, rather from her parents. But when she was a little, she had all the free time. But when she get older from 10 and up, her parents had started giving her strictly rules, not to do and what to do. Always good to be a good example for the people, for the ponies in town. But when she is in Ponyville now, she doesn't want to be as much as an important celebrity. Even if those so many ponies walked up to her, knows that she is the princess of Crystal Empire, often talks to her, maybe asks for an autograph or maybe a picture. That was something that she didn't mind, as long as it doesn't have to be a royal duty. And they were not all the ponies who walked up to her, but some of them was actually just asking her how the Crystal Empire were and how it was like to be a princess. And she's often said that princess life could be very boring and very strictly rules, but sometimes it could be well of fun. And Lullaby Apple, she had not noticed how much pain that could be as a princess. And sometimes she even told Flurry Heart that she sometimes envies her to be a princess. But now she hears that there are a lot of rules to be a princess. So she decided not to want to be one. And after about a couple of hours, they went back to the castle, and while I was there, but then she was surprised to see not only Flurry Heart and Lullaby Apple. Flurry Heart explained that Rainbow and Applejack had to go to help at the farm for some big order. So then Twilight asked why wasn't she even at the castle when she came to the town. Well, she explained that since her aunt was not going to be there for at least 4 hours after she arrived, so she decided with her friends just to explore, to experience the town, just to take some time off as another princess, just to explore and just to meet the ponies, just to experience a new different culture, a different environment, from a big major empire to a small town middle of nowhere. That was something that Twilight could imagine, because she grew up in a major in the capital city of Cantonment. And then she moved to a small town, so that things make sense to her. So, Applejack and Rainbow Dash later came to the castle, only about maybe an hour later, and explained to Twilight, but she told them that she only know, which she was even mad at them. And for the next couple of days, Twilight had a serious talk with Flurry Heart that she knows about her secret agenda, and that didn't take much as a surprise to Twilight. But she wanted to try, and try over again to make realize that Flurry Heart is in the next line of successor to the Empire. But then she often asked, why couldn't you be the next in line? You're a princess. You're my aunt's. You're my aunt. Why can you not take over the throne? Not after my parents are gone or step down. Or couldn't that just take someone else to be that? That took actually Twilight a much surprised, but once she had a good point. Why would she had to be in the next? Otherwise in the next line as well, because she's family. But since she is the head mayor of the school and the princess of friendship, she couldn't be even the ruler of the Crystal Empire while she is in Poland. Doesn't even work out as well. But she realized that Flurry Heart has a point. What happens if Flurry Heart doesn't want to be a ruler, and that maybe someone else could be in the next line? Perhaps they could look for another suitable, good candidate to be the next ruler. But Twilight had always said to Flurry Heart, you are the next in line. There won't be another one. As long as you don't have your own children, they might also be the next line. That took actually Flurry Heart a big surprise. She hadn't even realized it. If she get married and have her own children, they will be automatically put in the next line after her. She would not put her own future children in the same responsibility as to be the next ruler after her. So she decided maybe that maybe I don't want to be a princess anymore. Can you just turn me back to a normal unicorn or a Pegasi? That took very hard on Twilight. She said nothing. She actually left her home, went to her private library, and wrote a letter to her parents, and even they were shocked. They actually came to Ponyville already the next day. They all had a serious talk to Flurry Heart. How would you even consider to be a unicorn or a Pegasi and not being a princess in the next ruler? Mom, Dad, how do you expect me to be the next ruler when I don't want to be the next ruler? Put some other pony else on the throne, not me. I'm decided not to be a princess. Her parents were very devastated. They didn't expect Flurry Heart to react in such a way. Flurry Heart, I am your father, so now you listen to me. I am upset of what you are saying here. Are you even to listen to yourself? Do you want to be a normal pony rather than be a princess? You can have almost anything you want in the world. But Flurry Heart just looked at her parents and said, no, I'm said no. From this day, I'm not a princess anymore. I may be an alicorn, but I don't want to be a princess anymore. And she left the castle right away. Her parents and Twilight was just stunned. How could her dear daughter have this outburst? And where did actually Flurry Heart take away? She went all the way to the farm to spend time with her friend, Lullaby Apple. She explained all the things what happened in the castle, and Lullaby actually felt sympathy. She actually felt almost like she realized and almost like she knows how what Flurry Heart feels. And for that moment, Flurry Heart expressed her love for Lullaby Apple. And Lullaby Apple didn't express much back, except that she said that she loves her. And only about maybe an hour later, Shining Armor, Cadence, Twilight appeared at the farm, looking for her. And they said, "We're sorry, Flurry Heart. We're sorry to put so much stress and pressure on you, but you have to realize, since you are born as a princess, you are actually naturally born to be the next ruler. But your father and I decided not to push you any more into it, and we decided to let you decide if you want to be the next ruler or not. Until then, we'll continue to rule Crystal Empire until you decide it." And it actually took Flurry Heart as much a surprise. And then she told them that Lullaby Apple and she was actually a couple. But that didn't took them as much a surprise, because Cadence had somehow felt some sort of connection between them. And Applejack and Rainbow, they weren't even mad at all. They couldn't also sense something between them. And nearly for both after this event, their relationship remained strong. But after her relationship with her parents and aunt were a bit rocky afterwards, but it took some time to recover from all of this. So nearly only about 2 years after, Flurry Heart had decided to be the next ruler. Only if she could bring Lullaby Apple as her co-ruler with her. And her parents was not much against this entire idea, and Lullaby Apple's parents were not even against that idea either. They decided to let her be with Flurry Heart, since they both were made to each other happy and just want to be with each other. That was something that could happen. And nearly only about 5 years later, Flurry Heart actually proposed to Lullaby Apple, and she then said no. She said yes right away, and the wedding was actually one of the biggest in the Crystal Empire's history. The wedding lasted for almost nearly 2 hours in the church. And afterwards, they actually decided to go to a tropical island resort for the honeymoon for the next 2 weeks. But that was not enough. They even went to Saudi Arabia for 2 weeks before going back home to Crystal Empire. But for some time, Lullaby Apple actually stayed in Poland. But that was only for about maybe a couple of weeks and for each month, just to helping her family. But then she moved permanently to the Crystal Empire, and shortly a few years later, Flurry Heart became the next ruler of Crystal Empire. But only about 5 years later, after she became the next princess of the empire, both Lullaby Apple and Flurry Heart had been talking about starting a family. And since Flurry had learned the same spell as her aunt had used to help other couples to have children, she actually used the same spell for her and Lullaby. First, Lullaby became pregnant and she had 2 daughters of her own. And surprisingly, they both actually became alicorns. And nearly 5 years later, Flurry Heart decided to be a mother as well. And she had 2 children, 1 son and 1 daughter. The daughter became an alicorn, but the daughter, the son, actually became an earth poem. And that's how Flurry Heart and Lullaby Apple for a True Love got a big fan. The end.